Hi, so today I want to talk a little bit about this idea of Yelp and extortion. So this is actually part 3 of a 3-part video series where I am talking about the events that have been unfolding in real time with my own experience with Yelp and their salespeople. You really should watch this video and then this video after that before you watch this one because again, this is part 3 in a 3-part video series of what's actually going on. So you may not really understand everything I'm talking about in this video if you don't understand my entire experience. If you don't want to waste time watching those, let me make a very long story very short. I received calls from Yelp salespeople. I've been receiving them for years and years. Last month, I received one, and like all Yelp salespeople, this one does not want to leave you alone. They do not want to get off the phone. They do not allow you to hang up. The only way to get rid of these Yelp salespeople is to be very rude, because even if you hang up, they'll call you right back, they'll email you right back, and I was just sick and tired of it, so I uploaded a video detailing my experience. That Yelp salesperson wound up getting in trouble, and again, I didn't buy any advertising from that Yelp salesperson. Soon thereafter, I wind up getting these calls calling me a shitbag, and God is going to get you back, and blah, 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 from members of that person's family, and they were actually calling me from their work telephone. Now, what's happening right now is that I'm actually starting to get bad reviews on my page that are bogus. And I want to talk a little bit about these bad reviews. I want to talk about how I know that they're bogus, how I was able to prove that they were bogus, and how I was able to get it removed. And the sad thing here is, again, I've been saying for years that everybody who thinks that Yelp is out to extort you is kind of a conspiracy theorist or ridiculous. Again, I've never been a fan of Yelp elite culture, but you can see on a lot of websites where I've said that all these people that are like, I got 2 bad reviews, Yelp is extorting me, blah, 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 that I make fun of them. I'll say, it couldn't possibly be that you're charging $100 more than Apple for a crappy part. No, it has to be that Yelp is extorting you. I've always trolled a lot of these people that think that Yelp was extorting them and that they're getting bad reviews because of Yelp extortion. I've always thought that was crap, until now. Again, I have proof. So let's go over this. Now, the one thing that I'm really, really sad about, and I'm very, very sorry to say, is that I don't have a screenshot of the review. You have to understand that every time I've gotten a fake review and I flagged it, nothing has happened for 5 years. So when I sent an email about this one fake review, I really thought that I could print screen it at night once I was at a proper computer, and that would be that. I didn't think that it would actually be gone. But the reason they deleted this is because this review was such an obvious embarrassment to Yelp because it was so obviously a review that was planted by a salesperson. So I got a bad review from somebody named Jordan K. And this bad review said that I brought my Mac laptop to Rossman Group and to have the screen fixed, and they didn't fix it over the course of several weeks. They finally handed me back my laptop in pieces, not working, without a new screen, and they charged me anyway. Now, I know for many reasons that this is bullshit. The first reason I know that it's bullshit is that I've actually been here over the past 2 weeks. As I've been saying in these videos, my staff is actually away on vacation in Italy. So I'm here, I'm standing right here, the door is right over there. I'm gonna know if you drop something off and that happened without even having to look through the ticket system. B, we're not really a company that does that with screen repair. Screen repair is a very basic thing to do. We keep every single screen in stock here. Again, I'm one of the only stores in the area where you actually see 215-inch Retina screens, 215-inch AO screens, 213-inch Retina screens. I have all this stuff here. There's really no reason for that to happen. Again, if you look on YouTube, the first video for how to repair a Retina screen properly, actually replacing the inside pieces, was done by us. That's not something that would happen. So what I did to try to figure out if this was true or not, again, the person's name was Jordan K. Just in case I missed something, I'm always open to the idea that I'm wrong. So just in case I missed something, I decided to go through my CRM system and search for it. Now, since I respect the privacy of my customers, I'm not going to be showing you all the names. So I'm going to go to the customer section, and I'm going to search for a Jordan right now. Actually, I'm going to go to the invoices section because in the review it said that we charge them. So I'm going to search for a Jordan. Now, I'm going to be Xing out, you're going to see a bar through the side because I don't really want you to see the names and the emails of all my customers. All you have to know right now is that I'm searching for Jordans. So as I scroll down here, you're going to see that there isn't a single Jordan that had a laptop screen repair even this year. The last laptop screen repair for somebody who had Jordan in their name was back in, let's see, there's one here for 2013, there's one here for 2014, but this person said this happened in the past 2 or 3 weeks. As you could see, for 2015, there is not a single Jordan in the list. So when you combine the fact that this is not something that would happen at my business with the fact that I've actually been here and I would have met you, with the fact that this is just not something we do, I know that it's a bogus review. So I decided to entertain the conspiracy theorist in me a little bit. I decided to entertain that conspiracy theorist idea, and what I decided to do is I decided to just say, okay, so the Yelp salesperson's name was Erica Sperber, right? And the person who left me that bad review, so I actually wound up emailing a back and forth with Yelp about this. I think that's how this review got deleted. As you can see over here, I sent an email about this, and I said, again, I would offer a $1,000 reward in cash if this reviewer can produce a ticket for my business proving they're a customer. I know they can't. Anyway, so this is the person. So Jordan K. So let's just get a look at what this person looks like. This is the person that left the bad review at my local business. So I'm going to log in so that I can see a bigger picture. Okay, so this is the photo, right? So this is Jordan K right here. That's what she looks like. So now let's just Google Erica Sperber and see if I can find any information. Because again, that's the Yelp salesperson, right? So let's see if I can find a Google profile or anything like that. So I'm going to find a Google profile. Okay. This is her. So pretty much when I did my search for Erica Sperber, Yelp, see, account executive at Yelp, when I open this, open improve private window. Okay, so went to university, let's see. University of Wisconsin-Madison, right? So I know that this Google Plus page right here for Erica Sperber attended University of Wisconsin-Madison. The picture looks the same, that this is that person, right? So this is my Yelp salesperson. Have in her circles Jordan K. This is Jordan K. This is Erica's friend. This is the picture of the Jordan K that left me a bad review. Do you notice anything? Does anything kind of stick out to you here? This person is Erica's friend, the same salesperson that I said I do not want to pay for Yelp advertising to. Now, if I go to Jordan K on Yelp, and I go to Jordan K's friends on Yelp, and I search for Erica S., who lives in New York. And oh, what do you know? This is the same Erica. This is the same person that I declined advertising to. So again, Jordan K leaves me a review on Yelp saying I destroyed their laptop. A Jordan K that lives in Chicago, Illinois, tells me that, again, according to the Yelp page here, if you go to that Jordan K's profile, it says that Jordan K, again, Chicago, Illinois. So it leaves a bogus review for me. This Jordan K is the same Jordan K right here. That Jordan K, again, is the same Jordan K that has my Yelp salesperson in their Google Plus page. So what happened here is simple. I told the Yelp salesperson I don't want to pay for advertising. I told them why I didn't want to pay for advertising. I hung up, and when they refused to stop contacting me, I posted a video about it. That person decided to tell their friends that are Yelp leaders, hey, you should leave bogus bad reviews on this guy's page, and then bogus bad reviews were left on my page. That is extortion, really. I didn't pay for advertising, and days later, people who were friends or were college buddies with my Yelp salesperson who live 1,000 miles away are leaving reviews on my page saying that I ruined their laptop. This is bullshit. And again, this is one of those things where, like, you know why you haven't been able to catch this? The reason you haven't been able to catch this is because it's not a standard. It's not like something that's posted on the walls. See, the conspiracy theorists who think that Yelp is out to ruin you, the conspiracy theorists who think that it says on Yelp, like the Yelp CEO is walking up to the salespeople and saying, if they don't buy advertising, fuck up their business page. It's that level of paranoia that shows a lack of understanding of how the world works. The way the world works is very different. If you run a review company where you're selling advertising, and the CEO or the manager says, make sure that person gets a ton of bad reviews if they don't buy our advertising, you are going to be shut down in days. You're screwed. That review site will be screwed. What happens is a little bit different than that. Again, you have to have kind of a pragmatic worldview and kind of understand how the world works to understand what's going on here. That Yelp salesperson is forced to be aggressive because they need to produce clients, they need to produce revenue, they need to produce sales. They're not told, be super aggressive. They're just told, this is what you have to do, figure it out. So they figure out that they have to be really aggressive. As a result of the Yelp salespeople being really aggressive, what happens is that some of the people they call are going to be mean to them. Now, any good telemarketer is going to have a thick skin. Any good telemarketer is going to understand how to deal with, again, when they're aggressive, when the customer's aggressive, when the customer hangs up on them. But you'll be able to deal with that once, 3 times, 9 times, 20 times. But on the 21st call of the day, you might just get brought down by it. Whereas the first 20 calls didn't piss you off. That 21st call where you're really feeling bad and you're really feeling discouraged and you're being an aggressive salesperson and that person says, I'm sick and tired of you calling me, fuck you, and hangs up, you're really going to be mad. So when you go out after work, that Yelp salesperson is probably going to be sad, and they're going to be drinking, and they're not really going to be enjoying themselves with their friends. And their friends, maybe Jordan K. goes, hey, why is it that you are sad right now? What's going on? And you're going to go, well, I made a lot of calls at work today, but this one call that I made really got me pissed off because that one person, they were just kind of mean to me. And your friends, since they're familiar with what you do, they're familiar with Yelp, will go, well, who is that person? Who is it that pissed you off? And they'll go, oh, Louis, this guy owns a repair shop called Rossman Repair Group. See, here's the page. And then you don't ask them to leave the bad review, but that friend will then go home and in trying to be a good friend to you, will try to get back at the person that made you feel bad by leaving them a bad Yelp review. And that's what happens. It's not a policy. It's not like something that's written down in their employee contracts. Because again, a lot of the conspiracy theorists think that this is written down in the employee contract. Make sure that people who do not pay for advertising get bad reviews. And that's not really how it works. They call, you answer, you're not interested, and just because you're that 21st call that day, just because you're the one where they're kind of at the ends of their rope, and they're just sick and tired of people saying no, and you may just say something that just pushes them over the edge, now they're sad, and they associate that sadness, that irritation with you for saying no. And then it comes out with their friends. And then their friends, again, just trying to be good friends, are going to go, well, let's get back at that person. And how do they get back at that person? By leaving a bad review. And that's clearly what happened here. Again, are you going to tell me that not only is somebody who's not in my system, but that somebody who's not in my system, who lives in Illinois, who is college friends on, in person and on the internet, on 2 websites with my salesperson, are you going to tell me that that person actually came to my business and had that happen to them? Or are you going to tell me that that's a bunch of bullshit because that salesperson is pissed off that I didn't pay for their marketing? It's the latter. It's the latter. It's clearly the latter. And here's the thing that I want to get across here. To be honest with you, 100% honest, and just to set the record straight, it was never my intention to actually get somebody fired. All I ever wanted out of this whole thing was for somebody to just simply get in a little bit of trouble for harassing and calling me. My only goal with this was to get put on some type of permanent Yelp do not call list. I wanted for somebody to get in some small type of trouble just for harassing me, which you should if you're a telemarketer, and for every Yelp salesperson in the future to say, you know what? We're not going to call him because bad things happen, so that my phone would stop ringing. That's all I wanted. I never wanted anybody to get fired. I never wanted anybody's life ruined or anything like that. I never wanted anybody to lose their chance at getting a job. That was not my intention. But now, here's the thing. What I did to you Yelp salespeople, Erica, or whoever else is watching this in Yelp world, what I did to you was passively stop you from receiving money. All I did is decide I'm not going to take money out of my wallet and give it to you for Yelp advertising. That's different from what you did. I said no to an offer that you made. What you did was actively trying to stop me from making money. See, all I did is passively decide I'm not going to let my money go away. Whereas what you decided with your little fake review bullshit scene here, you decided to actively keep me from being able to make money. You actively sought out to make my business's reputation go downhill. You actively sought to try to ruin my business's reputation with a phony bad review. If you post enough of those phony bad reviews, there is a small chance that I will have less customers, which means that I make less money. So while I simply was refusing your offer, you have now actually gone out of your way to try to keep other people from spending money with me, other people that would have wanted to spend money with me. Again, I never wanted to spend money with you, and I made that obvious. This was me passively saying, I don't want to give away money. You are actively engaging other people to try to ruin my business's reputation so that I make less money, because I decided that I did not want to pay for advertising. So it's now my opinion that I don't really care if you get another job. You should, my personal opinion is that people who are going to do this, my personal opinion is that people are going to go through these lengths to spite and get back at people that do not want to pay for their marketing should not be selling marketing. That's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think somebody like this should be in any type of position with a social media website where, where they're selling advertising or where they're seeing people's stats or anything like that. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm not, all I'm doing is I'm just pointing out what I see here. And what I'm pointing out is it looks to me like friends of the Yelp salespeople leave bad reviews that are bogus for local businesses that don't pay for the advertising. And again, there are a lot of local repair businesses that I've made fun of because they believe that this conspiracy was true. And if you're one of the, and some of the people watching this may be the people that I've trolled before. Again, and a lot of the people in my business, I hate to say it, but, a lot of them are kind of idiots, They'll be saying, I got this bad review. This is bullshit. This is bogus. This is crap. And you're charging, you have to realize, you're charging $269 to fix an iPhone 6 screen, right? With a knockoff part. Apple is charging $109 to fix it with an original part. And you don't understand why that person may leave a bad review and their screen lifts or pops or anything like that. You don't understand in your head why that review may be real. And I'll troll them. I'll say, okay, you think that Yelp is extorting you. It couldn't possibly be that you're charging more than twice the manufacturer's price for the same service using a crappier part. It can't be that. And again, I've trolled a lot of people who think that Yelp is about extortion because, again, a lot of these people, they get really, really butthurt when they get one bad review and they don't have it in them to look at themselves and figure out why they got the bad review. And I think differently about this stuff. Again, I strongly support your right to leave a bad review for my business. If you have been a customer of my business, I strongly support your right to leave a bad review. So let's just go over my business over here, and I'll show you a couple of things on the screen. Come on, wireless keyboard. Come on. So yeah, again, this is a semi-bad review because somebody's key popped off, whatever. I understand that. This is a bad review for somebody because they thought that I told them. They thought I told them that I am fixing your computer by removing the air inside of it. They misunderstood me saying I'm using compressed air to remove all the junk that was stuck to your computer's liquid damage when you spilled orange juice on it. I think that person is kind of silly, and I don't agree with their review, but I 100% support their right to leave that review because they were a customer of my business. This person here had a machine where, again, it wasn't closing properly afterwards. I posted a picture here of what their computer looked like. Again, I don't agree with their review, but I fully support that person's right to leave that review because they were a customer of my business. This person, again, they're pissed off that we were charging money for service. They went to TechServe. I actually wound up following up with this person. They reset to get rid of MacKeeper and all the crap in there, they wound up resetting Safari, which is not a real fix. Whatever. Again, even though I disagree with it, that I agree with that person's right as somebody who walked into my business to leave a bad review. And we could scroll down, and I have those bad reviews from people who have who have come into the store, and whether I agree with them or not, I agree with that person's right to leave a bad review. But the people who I do not think should be allowed to leave bad reviews are, let's say, people like this. So this here is a fake review. So it says, I walked in and I waited for 20 minutes. No one acknowledged me, not even a hi, I'll be right with you. Or sorry, we're really busy, can you come back tomorrow? So I stood there for 20 minutes while everybody literally ignored me. Now, I want to kind of show you why it is that something like that is bullshit. So here's where I'm sitting, right? So here's where I'm sitting in my store. Now, let me turn the camera around so that you can see where the door is. So I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can see the door. As you can see, the door is right there. And when that door opens, because it's Manhattan, it makes a lot of noise. You can very clearly hear all the ambulances, all the wind, all the noise. So it's very, very obvious when that door opens that it's opened and that somebody has walked in. It's impossible for you to not get up instantly and look and see that there's somebody there. You couldn't hide in the store for 20 minutes if you were Jack fucking Bauer, much less be ignored purposely when you're trying to be a customer. So now, let's talk a little bit about that review because, again, this is the same thing happening. So, Okay, so this review over here was bogus. And it's funny because I got another bogus review from somebody else down here, which was, again, something that never happened because this person never walked in. Okay, so I wrote a blog about Yelp on October 2nd. This was right after receiving a phone call from a Yelp salesperson, and it's just my opinion on what I think of what's going on, right? So I write that thing after I get a phone call from a Yelp salesperson, and days later I get 2 reviews from people that never walked into my business. And I knew that they didn't walk into my business because, again, at that time I was literally here from 10 to 8. Now I have a variable schedule because I have good employees who are here all the time. Back then I didn't really have that variable schedule. This is what's going on. Again, if you get a call from a Yelp salesperson and you say you're not interested and they keep talking to you, and then you say something that's not very nice to try to get them to hang up on you because that's the only way you can get them to hang up on you, there is going to be retaliation. They are going to get their friends to leave bad reviews on your page, and they're often going to choose Yelp eliters to do this. Now, Yelp Elite are the people who are very regular Yelp users. They constantly are leaving Yelp reviews that Yelp thinks are of a good, decent standard of quality. Now, the Yelp review filter works in a unique way. What it does is it tries to measure user activity. It doesn't measure how many reviews you have. It doesn't measure whether you've paid for anything. What the Yelp review filter does is it tries to see, are you active in the area that you're actually leaving a review in? It's not just whether you leave a lot of reviews. Are you using Yelp on your phone? Are you using Yelp on your computer? Are you calling businesses off of Yelp? Are you contacting business websites off of Yelp? If you're an active Yelp user, your review will stick. So if you want a Yelp review that's bad to stick, if you really want to stick it to a local business, you'll get a Yelp Elite to leave a bad review on their page because a Yelp Elite review will stick. So what the salesperson will do is they'll talk to other people that they know that are Yelp Elite or whatever, and they'll talk about what happened at over this phone call. And I'm guessing it's just some kind of like worst case scenario, a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I wouldn't mind if that person got a bad review from you. Worst case scenario, that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is they say, hey, can you leave a bad review for him just because he was an asshole? And again, this is wrong. Like, you shouldn't have the power to do that. And again, I caught you. I got you red-handed. I don't have a print screen of that review, but I do know that you left it. It was right here in my head. I sent an email to the person at Yelp who instantly fucking deleted it. And again, this is proof here, because you know that when you email Yelp because you get a bogus review, they do nothing. The only reason that person deleted that review when I emailed and I linked to it is because they did the same thing I did. They looked it up and they said, oh my God, we got to delete this before people really find out that this is actually happening within our company. And it is indeed happening within your company every single day. And the people who have this happen to them, they're not necessarily as outspoken as I am. They're not necessarily as good at speaking about it as I am. They're not necessarily as good at getting the point across to others in an entertaining fashion as I am, so people are not listening to them. And that's really, really sad, because what you guys have been doing this entire time that I've been defending Yelp, I may not like the elite culture of Yelp. I may not like the culture, the subculture, and the cliques that you have with the elite users, but I've always been a proponent of the Yelp website, and I've always thought that it was actually a good system. And what you've done is you've proven over that all the defense I've had of the Yelp system on all these forums that I'm an idiot. That I'm an idiot for having actually supported it. And that, again, all these people that I said were being ridiculous, all these people that I've called conspiracy theorists and paranoid freaks, I have to now go back to every single one of these people and apologize to them because you have actually been doing this shit all along. And again, I caught you red-handed. And and I hope that this is the last video in this. I really hope that this is the end of it. But if it isn't the end of it, I'm going to keep publishing this going forward and forward and forward as this unfolds and as this continues to happen, because this is stuff that people really need to know about. Again, the actions that your employees are taking, the actions that are occurring as a result of your company culture, will legitimately harm small businesses. My small business has many means of revenue. I have YouTube. I have referrals from the 17 years that I've been working in the field of general electronics repair. I have a store with a sign. I have, I have a lot of ways to make money other than just a Yelp page. Again, I have Google reviews. I have Facebook reviews. I have all sorts of ways to get people in the door. So while a few bad reviews may keep one person from coming in, it's not really going to kill me. But these other people that are just starting out, you can easily kill them with these bad reviews, and it's really unfair that you have a system in place that will actually penalize and systematically punish people based on your company culture if they don't pay for advertising. And again, the reason that this is hard to get rid of is because it's not a policy. It's easy to prove the existence of a policy. It's easy to eradicate a bad policy. It's really hard to get rid of bad culture. That's where tricky management comes into play, and that's where you have to be a really good manager to get any of this kind of stuff done. I'll give you an example of how that happened with my own business 3.5 years ago. So somebody comes in wanting data recovery, and they came in to ask on the status of that data recovery about 3 hours later. We told that person that they'd be looking at a minimum of 2 to 4 days based on how destroyed this drive was. That person then proceeded to call my receptionist a cunt, and then also started making derogatory remarks about the fact that she was married to somebody who was Jewish. Because, she had heard some of the phone conversation that she had been having. And here's the thing. That's not the right way to talk to people. That's not the right way to treat people. I don't really have a lot of sympathy for you now. Now, the only thing that I have the right to do, again, as a business that says we will give you an estimate for your data recovery, and that estimate will depend on several factors. That's all I advertise. I don't advertise like, here's a flat rate for data recovery. I say, there are many different factors that will affect your rate. The only right that I have as a business owner with the way my business model is set up, after you've done that, is to either refuse your service or to quote you twice what I would usually quote. And if you call my receptionist a cunt and you make these remarks about the religion of people in her family, I'm not going to really feel that bad if your $300 quote goes up to $450 just because of that. But what I don't have the right to do, is take your drive and smash it against the ground so that nobody can get your data. That's something that I don't have the right to do. And when she left, I saw that one of the employees here was looking at that drive, and he had this look in his face like, that bitch, and he was about to do something that would have set the company culture at my business in a very different direction. Now, it's not something that I condoned. It's not a policy. But if I had simply pretended that I was working and allowed him to do that, and then just go back to his regular work, I would have just said, I can't recover this. And, you would have never been able to prove what happens. I wouldn't have even had knowledge, really, like that this is a policy. If you had an audit of my business, you would have never been able to see written in policy, if somebody calls you the C word, destroy their shit. So it's really hard to prove that because, again, that would have been a culture thing, not a policy thing. And policy and culture are very, very different things. It's easy to dictate and mandate policy. It's really, really difficult to steer your company culture where you want it. But I walked up to him and I said, listen, I understand that this is wrong, but we're not going to do this because we're going to be better than that person. If I do this, now I'm just as bad as that person. What we're going to do is we're going to say, here's your rate for data recovery. And when they ask why, if they ask why it is that price, well, it covers all aspects of dealing with the job. And one of those aspects of dealing with the job is dealing with how you talk to me and how you treat me. And if they say, and that person actually wound up saying yes to the quote of $450. But right there in that moment, I set my company culture. I saw what was happening and I could have chosen to ignore it, but I chose not to. And that's hard to do. That requires hands-on management. That requires earning the respect of your staff versus just coming in and having on your name tag that I'm the owner of the business. And what you guys at Yelp have been doing, again, the reason I say that it's the management's fault here, what you guys at Yelp have been doing, this shit's been going on. You know that this shit has been going on. Again, you look at these pictures and this crap on the internet, you know that, people who work at Yelp, they go out to bars, they go out to party, they go out, they take pictures, they socialize with one another. You guys know damn well, at least one of you fucking knows that somebody called a local business and that somebody who was friends with that salesperson left a bad review with that local business because they didn't sign up for advertising or because of something they said on the phone. You knew what happened, and instead of taking the confrontational choice to call that person out on their misbehavior, you made the choice to do what was easy to do and look the other way. What's easy to do and pretend that you didn't see that. What's easy to do and laugh. Instead of doing the thing that's easy to live with, which is doing the right thing so that your company can have a little bit of integrity, so that your company can have a little bit of authority in the review space, and so that you can overall just not be the shitbag that you people are claiming that I am. But you didn't. And again, this is a culture thing. This is something that's not going to go away unless you take every single one of the Yelp managers, you remove them, you take every single one of the Yelp salespeople, you remove them, and you replace them with people that actually have ethics and integrity. And I don't see that happening overnight. I don't see that changing easily. And sadly, I don't see this type of stuff changing at all. All I recommend you do is when this stuff happens to you, objectively look it up. Again, I'm not reacting here subjectively based on my feelings. I'm objectively sitting down and saying, is this person friends with this person? Does this person, Jordan, have ties to this person, Erica, on several social media websites? Is this the same Jordan that's in this review? Is this review not left days after this? I'm connecting dots. I'm not acting based on feelings and emotion. I'm acting based on objective truth. So when this happens to you, what I suggest you do is look up as much objective truth as you can that shows that what you're talking about is correct. And then make sure that that is immortalized. Like I'm making sure that this experience is immortalized on this YouTube channel. You should make sure it's immortalized on your website, immortalized on your own YouTube channel, immortalized on your Facebook page. However it is you do it, make sure that it's known where people can actually see it, because the more proof we get of this, the better a chance we stand at changing the company culture at a website that, for whatever bad you want to say about it, is the first website that's likely to show up when somebody searches for your local business. So if this website retains the right, through their company culture, through looking the other way, to extort us, to have their friends leave bad reviews that will stick on our page just because we refused advertising, then we're fucked. And I don't want to be fucked.